This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy!
Hey, let's talk about you, the ID10T community events at ID10T.com, like Russ Stevens, aka
Cat Bus Russ,
who has started a podcast called 90 for Chill, which Russ says is dedicated to movies with a runtime between 74 and 99 minutes, the time frame that I feel is ideal. Russ, I could not agree with you more. That is a fantastic idea. Russ goes on to say there are times you need a cinematic fix but don't have time for the latest Scorsese masterpiece or offering from a comic book universe. There's also times when you need a conclusion to prevent a binge costing you a whole night. My guests and I try to follow these guidelines as we chat up features that are definitely worth your time and are beyond easy to make time for. 90 for Chill, the podcast, can be found on all major podcast platforms at 90forchill.com, and that's spelling out 90, Ninety, 4 FOR, chill. So there you go. Thank you so much for sharing, Russ. Really great idea for a podcast. Events at ID10T.com for everyone else.
Hello there.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of I Dig Crazy Flicks with Cat Bus Russ. I'm your host, Cat Bus Russ, and this week I'm going to cover the last day of Missouri Comic-Con 2026. I'm going to throw in a movie review that I meant to bring up during Spooky Season 2025, but Sinners and Tron were a little too important to me. A horror picture that I think kind of fits the vibe of, say, me going to Comic-Cons to promote low budget. We're just trying to make our best. This is going to be Dr. Rebecca McKendry's Glorious, starring J.K. Simmons, or at least the voice of, and Ryan Quatron from True Blood. True Blood is my go-to fall asleep stoned HBO Max show, and I guess I can kind of relate to those vampires needing real blood, true blood, what have it, just needing energy, and I get that through W Jitterless Energy Blend. I love the retro sherbet flavor. It's a powdered energy drink with all the vitamins you get in an energy shot, just about the same caffeine as a cup of coffee, and at half the price of a regular energy drink habit. Save even more though if you go to w.gg, promo code CatBusRuss, and save yourself 10% off on your order. So that's virtually zero shipping, I suppose. Give W Jitterless Energy Blend a try. Give W Jitterless Energy Blend a try. That's w.gg, promo code CatBusRuss for 10% off. And now let's get on to the show.
Everything all right over there, my friend?
I'm not much of a bathroom talker.
You're not in the least bit curious as to what I have to say.
I'm just not into conversations with random dudes hiding out in bathroom stalls.
No one is coming to help you, friend.
So you're a god living in a rest stop bathroom in a stall that's glory hole adjacent.
I am he. I am that God. The universe has a favor to ask. You need to satisfy my physical form. There's only one part of you that can do that.
I'm not doing it. I don't care how many people it saves.
Total annihilation of all life in the universe.
Your feelings tear you up inside, pure and raw. That's what I need from you.
What did you do, Wes?
Makes me wish I'd driven the extra 40 miles to the next rest stop.
That wouldn't have helped.
Why? Is there a troll living in that one?
With Spooky Season, I'm doing my best to catch up on all of the horror creators, or I should say influencers in this case, that I have a good deal of respect for. I saw Blood Farina from Chris Alexander, the editor of Delirium Magazine, and now I concluded watching Glorious, directed by Rebecca McKendry, a USC professor and constant guest on Screen Drafts, one of my favorite guests. Enough kissing bum, I suppose. Glorious is the story of Wes, a guy who's trying to get over the loss of his last girlfriend, and he's just traveling, trying to get away from it all, ends up deciding to have a ceremony where he angrily burns all of her stuff, drinks an entire fifth of whiskey, blacks out at a rest stop, and then throws up in the bathroom of the rest stop, where he immediately starts receiving commentary from a voice claiming to be a Titan, God, what have you, and that the only way to get out of the bathroom is to fulfill his request. Of course, he's speaking from a stall on the other side of a glory hole. This is a horror movie, so it obviously is in a place where it better get nuts, and I think it does. It's a very, well, I don't know if I'd say a very solid story. I think there's things I would do differently with it, but it's fun to see Quatrain, or Quatin, the guy who played Jason Stackhouse from True Blood, interacting with just the voice of J.K. Simmons. So it's easily something that you'll want to check out. As for the direction, it's pretty solid. There's just moments where it's, again, just different decisions maybe. Like, I think it's just been played out, just constant cuts of seeing a person going through madness from different perspectives, not really knowing what's reality. It is pretty much humorous throughout. Even when it starts getting intense, there's still a, tongue-in-cheek bit to it. I guess what I would do differently with it would be probably come up with something a little more creative. And I'm just saying that as in there is a final twist, and it's one of those that I don't know if I needed, because I'm the type who would hang out with the protagonist regardless of how evil they are if they seem to be struggling with something, dare I say. Like in the movie Maniac, and I'll leave it like that. But it makes sense. I don't know, it's just one of those things like, maybe we should have exposed that earlier instead of making it a twist. But I guess if that's my only fault with the script, and there's good tease about Wes needing to give the Titans something to save the world from its annihilation, and he doesn't quite, his first reaction is not what's expected. And it does go into great discussions about the concepts of selfishness and is anybody truly pure of heart. So there's some good drama with that. I'm just, for what it is, a film set in a pretty much one set location, it kind of plays out like a play, and I think it may, with that being said, may have worked better that way. Maybe it could have been more simple, or it's basically you got to go one way or the other. Effects heavy or just like the movie low, I guess is what I would say. But I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying it's, as I say, I'm watching it from, dare I say, a horror influencer, aspiring one, dare I say, or in my case, just the movie critic who is watching some of his features from some of his heroes, trying to relate to them on their level, dare I say. So, yeah, I don't necessarily have legs to stand on when we're talking about a USC professor. But I think there could have been, there's other ways to do this movie, is what I'll say. I'm not saying I could do it better. I'm just saying, I could see different approaches that might have resulted in a more satisfying feature. Really, the only thing that would have made this awesome is if after all the cosmic chaos concludes, as we just find out it's the peanut M&M. But no, if you got, it's a real short movie, not even 80 minutes, so definitely worth your time. Glorious by Dr. Rebecca McKendry.
We'll be right back. Obey the law.
You do not have to be like me, because I know that everybody's social media feed is bombarded with ads for the new guilt-free snack. But you're scrolling on social media, so you're curious about a lot of things. And fortunately for me, I have a pretty high batting average when it comes to trying stuff from online sources. one of those hits was Deutsch Snacking Dough. It's cookie dough. You can eat raw. You can bake into cookies in under 10 minutes. And it just fills you up in a few scoops. I like to eat a pound, maybe 2 pounds of chicken wing in a sitting. And still there's the urge to go for that third pound. But with Deutsch Snacking Dough, you take a couple scoops, and it just settles me down, and I feel full. Free of the top 8 allergens, they're gluten-free, low sugar, and have 3 times the protein of any other dough out there. And it's plant-based. And as I say, I can eat 3 pounds of wings in a sitting if I feel like it. I am a carnivore. Needless to say, I was skeptical about plant-based snacking dough, but my skepticism was proven wrong. So if you go down to the link in the description of this podcast, it will take you to my portal and you will get 20% off of your order. So find your new snack today, Deutsch Snacking Dough.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
Once again, thanks for checking out I Dig Crazy Flicks with Cat Bus Russ. I got home to Urbana, Illinois about 11 p.m. last night, Monday. I meant to probably spend a little more time to myself, but, you know, you get that email from your landlord saying, we're sending maintenance guys in on Tuesday, so rush on home. Because I did stop to visit my parents, get my dad set up with an Apple Watch, even the cellular process, which I'm surprised went so easily. But I digress about that. The Poetic Critic seems to be doing good, which is also great. All things considered. I'm going to miss David. Good guy. And really, I really miss the fact that I couldn't get him on the 90 for the... I should say that we did not record the first 90 for Chill, the panel, at Fan Expo 2024. We tried to record it. It did not work out because he was a pretty active part of it. So he's a guy that I really would have liked to further get broken out of his shell. I guess I just didn't have that many hot takes about Supernatural. But we miss you, David, and, you know, I hope you're hanging out with some cool people wherever. So, yeah, when it comes to Missouri Comic-Con Day 2, it felt busier. Like, everybody was prepped for their cosplay on this day. So, I can't say I saw a lot of wash for Alan Tudyk. A lot of Jewel State cosplay from Firefly. And there was a lot of Hazbin Hotel. But as I say, it felt more thicker, the cosplay on this day. You know, I can't really say anything stood out to me like the Army Men, or... I did find a guy who was doing a Fatal Fury Terry Bogard cosplay. So I gave him a Missouri Comic-Con pin, which I kind of feel bad for the other guy he was hanging out with, who I think was just doing well, I've done that, hey, I've bought myself a furry tail, I've got myself ears, get me some gloves, you know. Cosplay suddenly, like, I just want to look weird, I guess, is when I do it, okay? I am sorry, I don't mean to cosplay shame anybody. So, but, yeah, 90 for Chill. I'm sorry, it was not 90 for Chill, which still surprised me that was the busiest panel. We had the 12:45 spot against Brett Spiner and Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek The Next Generation. And as I say, it was busier Sunday, meaning I think everybody was pretty much in the arena, the Wilson Arena, I believe it was, at the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds. I really wish they could have opened up their little stands, like you walk by waiting in line to get into the E-Plex building where the panels are, and you're like standing right next to the giant tater stack sign. It's like, oh, come on. The vendors are missing out. I don't even want to go, gosh, I don't want to do the cleanup when the whatever fair they have there goes on. Because it didn't say county fairground. But yeah, 12:45 was my panel, and on this day I kind of realized, oh geez, they are really making your options few, because every panel room gets a quarter-hour start, a different quarter-hour start. So the main stage, 12, or I believe it was probably 1 p.m. for Franks and Spiner. The panel room 1, 12:15. Panel room 2, 12:30. And panel room 3, where I was at, 12:45. So, yeah, I'm definitely not going to get people... I mean, people are basically in that position. They're already getting prepped for the main stage show. So, but I did get a good crowd for the 1985 Triple Threat match, or I should say an active crowd. It's going to require me to watch 3R before I drop that one, or RRR, however you want to say it, as I've been asking. So, come on, action movie suggestions. And somebody said, well, you count Bollywood? Are you talking about 3R? Oh, yeah. I have not seen it, obviously, but yeah, no, it's been one I've been intended to, and yeah, so we've already got a lot of buzz for that one. I believe it was the top movie of 2022 on the Screen Drafts super draft about that year. So yeah, 20 of 25 movies mentioned, that was the top one. Here you really need to see it with an audience, but they were very satisfied with Netflix. So, and it was definitely an age thing. Like at some point I popped up like, look, I'm betting the oldest person here is 37 and like 33. Oh, geez. And then I had some fun with the people coming in for the next panel. And it kind of, like, the rooms should be a little more themed, I guess. Like, these were cosplayers essentially coming in for the next panel. So it's like, oh, geez, subject matter, limit it to different places. It's kind of like the creator stage, I would say, at Fan Expo. So, that's... But when I, as people are getting set in for the next panel, yeah, it was a cosplay panel. Now that I think about it, it was about working with foam, EVA foam. And excuse me if I'm trying to rush through this. I'm actually got called into work, and when you only got scheduled 2 shifts, you're gonna have to jump at it. So basically, I'm just gonna do all the editing when I get home, and you know what my day looks like. Again, rushing. Good reason to get Dubby Energy Blend, but I'm not going to read another ad for that. No offense, Dubby. So, but as they're sitting in, I'm saying, well, 1985, anybody, or action movies, anybody have some suggestions? And somebody popped up with The Breakfast Club. And like, hey, you got the year right. I don't think Emilio Estevez not knowing how to act on drugs despite his family's history counts as action. So we had a little discussion about adventure. It's kind of like before my panel started, I think Dee Snider had finished up his panel in panel room 1. And it's like, do I go and ask him, hey, you were in a 1985 movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, in an action sequence, but, adventure's in the title. So I didn't bug him. And Lord knows I'm probably bugging enough people with my movies and Punch and Pie promotion. I was able to get a kid dressed as Cartman into the place, though. So, and did he take extra Punch and Pie? I'm not judging. So, yeah, so that was really my experience. So by that time, 1 o'clock, I'm walking over the floor. I was running out of those little pins from Sticker Mule, and I think they may have gotten over more than the buttons, so I probably should go and make amends with Sticker Mule for complaining about their lack of empathy. They did send me an email saying, "Oh, now you have $35 in credit, used by July, blah, blah, blah." But they also sent another response to my email. So let's see what that turned out to be. Alright. Certainly not our again, thank you so much for bearing with me. It's not our intention and certain. We mainly just want to make sure your future experience with are as perfect as possible by passing along tips and information we can. Going forward, you can find a lot of information on the FAQ page here. For now, I was able to set up with courtesy $35 store credit to completely cover the cost of this order. That automatically applies to any future order of $30 or more. Please don't hesitate. Oh, geesh. So they still have not apologized. I am sorry for not typing an email up. I'm sorry for not responding sooner. I was on the road at a Comic-Con. Where those pins went over very well. Okay, so I'm writing my email right now. I'm sorry for not responding sooner. I was on the road at a Comic-Con where those pins went over very well. As for your customer service, you are insulting my intelligence. You shouldn't have reached out. It was a... Oh, geez, I'm sorry. It's like, as for your customer service, you are insulting our intelligence. If we are frustrated, there is a problem with your website. If you make us experience problems, you need... Sorry, I'm really getting dramatic. You need to apologize for them. It's customer service 101. Every customer service job that I have had over the past 23 years, that is the first step in the process. Throwing money at me without an apology means you care not about your customers, just the opportunity to make money. I will have to refer you over to the Better Business Bureau. Yeah. Can I refer you? Can I refer your company to the Better Bureau? Probably. Sure. Sure. But they are going to tell me they made an effort to solve your issue. Here, the problem is reaching out to me to tell me I screwed up because of a negative review. Instead of apologizing. Created our problem. If you're not going to refund my quarter, because, then your customer service has totally failed. Totally failed. I don't want your $35 credit. I don't want no reason to use your services again. Do not. You did not. You reached out only to insult my intelligence. If you are going to do that again, do not reach out to me any further. Oh, geesh. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Well, you know what? As I say, people like the product. It's cute. It's little. They did it wrong, though, and it comes down to the fact that, first off, the plastic, okay, not that big a deal in the end, proved not to be a big deal. But to not be exactly what I saw, maybe I thought it was supposed to be metal, and I even acknowledged that is on me. But to have a proof that shows no reason for me to think there was going to be any transparency, so, my website can actually be shown on the frickin' button, or pin in this case. Yeah, they did it, and then tell me I did it wrong. That is on them. Sticker Mule, they're Trump supporters on top of that. They had a big freaking banner on their building beforehand. But hey, I was just looking for good products, and maybe they still have them. Obviously, these got over very well at the convention. But they still, just... An apology is all I want if you think you've created a problem. And instead, they basically said, no, it's your problem, but here's some money. I don't want that. I want an apology. So, I mean, I go back, like White Castle sent me a free meal card for my experience with them up in Chicago at C2E2. And maybe it was the tangibleness. I can't necessarily recall if they actually gave me an apology. I could probably dig through my recycling and find out. But, they at least took ownership of this. And they're just passing the buck at Sticker Mule. And you could say, well, they're giving you a discount. No, they're telling me I have to return to them to use it. So, yeah. Give me a refund, Sticker Mule, or give me an apology. And maybe we can even chat. So, alright, Sticker Mule drama. If there was any drama for me, it was just more of getting my time right. So, I think I left the con just before 3 o'clock. Had to go back to my car, drop off my stuff, go back to the convention, buy myself a professional wrestling Pokemon champion belt. So, I know that's silly, but balancing wise, I think it works with what I was doing. This belt you can find on, I believe, TrophySmack.com. Or at least they can make you the belt, I suppose. I'm going to just do a quick search on the person I bought it from. Geeky Space, I believe. The Geek Space. Let me see. Okay, no, I think it's just... Alright, so I got the belt a fit from the Geek Space. That's thegeekspace.official. And they've probably overpaid for the belt because he gave me a $100 artwork collection of Magic the Gathering cards that they drew up based on Pokemon. And I'm looking at their site. Looks like you can get a lot of different ones. I don't know how well it plays. I might have to learn how to play Magic the Gathering. I could go to Titan Games, I suppose, for that. But then it's even like showing the cards and like, are we going to be allowed to play with it? Can you take on my Ash, the Pokemon Master? So, it's an interesting art style, a little hectic, hence why I didn't go and buy like a print. But print from them. Never mind the fact I've got so many prints anyhow. But I think these cards really look nice because they focus on an individual character in these artworks. They could have given me a little, and I don't know if they had it or not. I don't think they did because I did look through the prints. They could have given me a little Star Wars sequel love. Last Jedi is awesome, so come on, give us something, give us some hope. Rebellions are based on hope. All right, yeah, you could have at least, especially with Alan Tudyk there, you could have at least done some K2SO stuff. It didn't come to immediate mind, or it didn't come, I didn't see it. But, hey, suggestions, I guess, to Geek Space. And I did stop by Lydia Perez's booth just to tell her that, hey, I did buy your proof back at your Midsommar proof back at GalaxyCon Des Moines. So they were, so I just wanted to make sure she understands why I'm looking, but not necessarily buying. So Lydia's Instagram is at Loop. Sorry. Loop. Okay, that's Lylle. Sorry, let me spell it correctly. LYLEELOOP at Lily Loop on Instagram. So that she was very cool. So understanding like, hey, I can only, create new stuff so much. So very cool person. So check out her art though if you're at a convention. I don't know her. She hasn't updated to what's the next con she's at. I think I may have seen her at GalaxyCon St. Louis. I think I may have. She gets around. So great work from her. So I got back to my car around 3 p.m. and then immediately booked a room in Rolla so I could go and record, which is only not even 2 hours away, so I could go and record a episode of Collateral Cinema with Ashley and Bo. It was the 420 special, so we're going to talk about Mystery Science Theater 3000, so that should come out this Sunday, I would hope. It was a lot of fun talking about the movie with them. It's just like, all right, so they're going to record between 6 and 8. So I thought it may have been, we record from 6 to 8, so I got to get into Rolla before 5 p.m. And yeah, made it. And then it's like, oh, we're bumping it up to, we're not going to get there till 9. And no big deal. All right, I get to try to find some food I can't find in Central Illinois. And it's almost a little annoying going through Missouri because even as far to Springfield, Missouri, I think they had White Castles. And it's like, how did we get missed in this entire thing? Like, I know Indiana's big on White Castle, obviously Chicagoland. And then I don't think there's anything I don't recall it being in the Quad Cities. So how did it loop around underneath? Like, is there a White Castle in Kentucky? That doesn't really sound... well, Kentucky's a blink and you miss it state, in all honesty. And then they're far enough south, Springfield at least, to get Whataburger. And yeah, it's... as I say, they managed to hold on to all of their franchises. Nothing is lost. And, it's a... So what I found was Pancheros, and I know there's one in Peoria now, but we used to have two in Champaign-Urbana. They didn't make it past the Pandy, so it was nice just to have a little quesadilla. It kind of makes me further appreciate Moe's, though, because you can throw so much more in, but, straight up great food. That's what I'll say about Pancheros. I should tried some sauces, I guess. I didn't sit in and eat, so... got back to the hotel room, finished watching, I should say. I watched the short film before the main feature. So let me pull that up on my letterbox at Catbus Russ. You might not see it there because I still use CM Darth. I'm going to be creating some list about my fours and, movies that have further decimal points, I suppose. So, yeah, on Friday night I watched the Crimson Permanent Assurance sketch. The Crimson Permanent Assurance short from Terry Gilliam before Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. And when it comes to Monty Python's Meaning of Life, I think they knew this was going to be their last project, so I think they just wanted to do all the sketches they know they couldn't get a chance to do back, obviously, on British television. And, so it can get disgusting for the sake of being disgusting, which, honestly, I guess I'm not that big a fan of the fat bastard who keeps puking, ordering stuff. I mean, I did like some of the reactions, but maybe a little too much vomit, and then just having them explode for the sake of exploding after eating a paper thin meat. So a lot of French accent work from John Cleese and Eric Idle. And then I think, honestly, the wrap-up to that works out pretty well. Just the subtle humor there. Some racial humor and the meaning of life. But, yeah, it's not essential Monty Python, but it is fun. I don't, if it's just on the TV, give it a watch. Great. Now when I go through the Cat Bus Russ portion of it, I guess on my letterbox, I guess got to knock it down to about 2.5 stars since it's not essential, but it is fun. So, so watched. So after that, after dinner, this is the first time I ever did 2 edibles. It's the 420 special. I have to get myself in that mind space, and I hope everything worked out on my end. I had a Baldo talking about Mystery Science Theater 3000. And right now, I should say, I'm looking for guests for 90 for Chill. That's one of those funny things that that Bo still puts it as 90 for Chill. And I explain it. Now, it's I Did Crazy Flicks, and I am looking for guests for I Did Crazy Flicks right now. I think I got at least one spot I want to fill in on my schedule, and that was something also that Bo did to me. And what's coming up on I Did Crazy Flicks? Oh boy, I don't plan that far ahead in the future. And Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming, the sister channel, they really look forward. So I wish I had their professionalism. I think I do better ad reads for Dubby. Catbus Russ is the promo code. Than they do. I'll say that. And it was funny on the drive home. I finished listening to the 1987 action movies, the series, the No on 15 crew out of Chicago. Shout out to Real 7 Cs. We will get your episode on the feed at some point. We talked about Rare Exports together. Fun conversation from a few years ago. It's gonna, great, now you're gonna have to make it. Maybe I'll put it out in July just so we can have a Christmas in July. Okay, scheduling. See, I don't think that far ahead. Because I got all these panels to do, and that's something I really guess I'm gonna have to start mixing things up, or maybe not even. We always get some cool insights. I will say that from the audience. The problem I had, basically, I think it ended up being a great con for me, especially since 90 for Chill had an audience. But they were TED Talks, and, if the audience doesn't deliver, I'm kind of shagged now, aren't I? They're going to get the same content over and over again. So I really need to get more guests on the podcast. So why I'm bringing that up during this Collateral Cinema conversation is that when I'm chatting with them, well, not when I'm chatting with them, I knew their next episode, which I was supposed to be on. It dropped on Sunday, Rocky V, with the podcast that wouldn't die. And this is a critique I brought up to the podcast that wouldn't die. It's like, you gotta have somebody who actually likes the movie, because some people are coming in to hear somebody, they want to talk about their favorite movie, hear about their favorite movie. But if both of you are just like, meh, or, oh, this should have been in Bad Movie December, you're not gonna get my attention. I'm gonna zone out on the podcast, So just a pointer, even to Collateral Cinema. But thank you very much for your patience with me, and hopefully we'll pull off that Dead or Alive podcast, not the Jamie Presley movie, which I didn't go and see. Which I did not go. I have a copy of DOA, the video game adaptation movie with Jamie Presley. I didn't check out. Well, obviously, I'm stuck in this building there, and I'm running panels. So even she was in panel room 1. The the quarter hour setups, I couldn't see her. So yeah, that was kind of one thing I failed though, and I should have thought about it. Oh, you're talking about MST3K tonight. I should have gone and figured a way to connect with Felicia Day. It was fun talking on Collateral Cinema that, oh yeah, well, Brad Jones, he's the guy who's, oh yeah, I ran into Brad Jones at C2E2. So, yeah, I should have name dropped there. But, yeah, so otherwise, it's got about an hour and 20 before my shift starts. So, definitely get around to wrap this up, I suppose. But as I was speaking about, I need guests for the podcast. If you'd like to come on the show and talk about a movie that at least you like, well, I might not like it, but that's, that's actually good content, I would suppose. Like, I did not like We're All Going to the World's Fair, but thank you, Austin, for bring it to my attention, and I hope you got to speak well of it, as well of it as you wanted to. So yeah, as long as you like a movie, or you look at my letterbox, see my stars, and at CatBusRuss, and like, oh no, that does not deserve that. If you want to dislike a movie, as long as you know I like it, let's chat. So offer me a movie, a theme, a director, an actor, as long as the content of the film or films is off the walls, insane, not in touch with reality, I'll think we can fry up a slice of podcast gold. But if you have something a little more down to earth, and there's plenty of nice little brief dramas, as long as they're between 70 to 100 minutes, I'll happily chat about it. So send an email to russbus07@gmail.com. That's RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. I also have a contact page on the I Did Crazy Flicks website, ididcrazyflicks.com. And you can also reach out with those suggestions on social media. That's at CatBusRuss, primarily on Blue Sky. I am on Instagram, and technically I'm on Threads. I'm not ready to turn on notifications on that platform, and I'm not a big fan of Meta. So there's where I stand there. If you want to help the podcast otherwise, the best way to do it is to rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. 5-star reviews preferably. Be as honest as you like to be in the comments. I will learn from them. And if you want to see how I've developed into the podcaster that I am, and have ad-free episodes of I Did Crazy Flicks, join my Patreon. That's patreon.com/IDidCrazyFlicks. For $3 a month, you'll get yourself either a waterproof sticker or a refrigerator magnet, which I use both at my primary job to promote my podcast, kind of subtly. I'm not reaching out to customers and saying, and if you, I know my rules and regulations. But yes, merchandise, you get yourself access to the original 90forchill.com, the podcast feed from the Podbean days, so you can listen and learn as I developed into a better podcaster, I hope. And you will get yourself a shout out on every episode as long as you're subscribed. So, thank you, Dad. Thank you, underappreciated AAW Pro Wrestling backstage personality, The Scoop Staley, who's also made an impact on the screen drafts. Of course, you're going to have to go to their Patreon to find me there. But, oh, did I give away the game? Yeah, we'll just move on. And thank you very much, Tim Bates. You can find him on episodes about 1989's Bloodsport in Space, the Charles Band produced Arena, and the 1988 horror comedy classic Night of the Demons. And I think that sums up everything. So let me just get through my final formalities. Thank you very much, Station Marie Harden, for keeping an eye on me, keeping me out of too much trouble. Thanks for just being my inspiration, and I hope you're looking after everybody else you touched in your life. And be cool to David. and squeeze the ectoplasm out of the most jellicle of kitties, Skimbleshanks the One-Eared Angel. So I believe next week I am going to get back to UICon, if you need to know what the future looks like. And otherwise, I'm looking for guests again. Send your suggestions at CatBusRuss on Blue Sky primarily, and RussTheBus07@gmail.com. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks again for checking out I Dig Crazy Flicks.
Can I hear a wahoo?
This podcast was made possible by the love and support of Dave and Cindy Stevens, Rory Stevens and Allison Higgins, Danny Daniels, and Stephanie Smith.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.